Yeah, mistakes were made. What can I say? I'm guilty of the cardinal sin of videography, or at least one of them, and that is not dumping my footage from the SD card onto the computer and backing it up. And as a result, all the footage of me completing the box was destroyed. On the plus side, we've all seen boxes made 1,000 times, and this one, honestly, folks, is not done any different. Didn't take too long. I kept the construction as simple as possible. About the most complicated thing I did was on the front panel here and on the back panel here. I made a rabbet on both sides so that the side panels would have something to socket into and give me a lot more glue space. The bottom, straight up butt joint, nothing fancy there, glue and screws. I squared the box up, put some glue around the edge, laid the top on here, shot a couple of brad nails in it, and then attached it with screws every so often to make sure it's nice and secure. Once everything was dry, I took a flush trim bit around the whole perimeter and made it perfectly flat. And then I went through on the sides here and on the bottom and the top, and I just used all the offcuts from this project to add some trim here to kind of hide the corners and the joints and kind of give it a little bit of architectural details. I even threw some cut nails, you can see right here, along the bottom and the top, just to kind of give it a little bit of visual interest. Threw in some hardware, and the box is done. Now you might notice this chest does not have a top, and that was done intentionally. I'll be taking this chest back and forth to the game store and maybe even to friends' houses when I GM over there. And I wanted to make sure this was as light as possible. Now, I'm not saying that I will not ever put a top on here, but I am saying that for the moment, I don't want one. I do see myself eventually putting some type of a top on here if I have to store this thing for a little while, and let's say I take a few months off of gaming and I'm not in here 3 times a week. But until then, this part of it's done. Now, the part I'm most proud of is the interior. You can see I've got it lined with felt, and I've done that before, and it's been very frustrating in the past. So I've come up with a technique that I use that works perfect for stuff this big, as well as stuff this big. This is simply a 3D printed box that I'm working on. I've got to do some sanding and painting to get it done, but it's also going to get a lining. Probably black, not red felt. And the way I do it is with these. I have a bunch of panels. Oops, I'm dropping them everywhere. I have a bunch of panels. One for the bottom, one for the front, one for the back, one for the left, and one for the right. Each one of those panels fits perfectly inside this box in its respective spot. When I'm done and I'm ready to line this thing, I'll take these panels, I'll put some spray adhesive on here, I'll lay them on whatever material I end up deciding to use, I'll let it dry, I'll cut it free. When I'm done, this thing will be perfect. A couple of dabs of glue on the bottom, drop it in, can't get any smoother. And in my humble opinion, I don't think you can argue with the results. And it makes me happy, and I'm impressed with it, and really at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And you can see on the box, there's a compartment on the right and a compartment on the left, and that's done very intentionally. As a matter of fact, come on over, let me show you what I'm looking at here. All right, so we've got 2 sections here. This section works perfect for the books. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am not ever going to take all of my books with me to any one campaign. I'll usually just take the ones that are relative to the night that I'm playing. But it is nice to know that I can store this many books if I ever need to. There's a little bit of room over here, still left for other types of storage if I want to add anything in here. Maybe I use dry erase boards sometimes, dry erase maps, and I can take that and stuff it in there and prevents these things from rolling around. That leaves me plenty of room over here for my binder, and I can set that either way. A little notebook that I carry with me, my dice tray, pens, dice, little tray for my markers, spray bottle. It's empty right now. I don't usually keep water stored in there because they leak sometimes. Brand new pack of notepads that I just bought. Dice cup, more pens, a little bit of offcuts, terrains, and stuff like that. And I know you're thinking there's still a lot more room in here, and there is, because I'm really big on props. I don't have a whole hell of a lot of terrain, but I do have some terrain, and there is room for that in here. If I wanted to, I can come over here, and so I could come in and put in something like this. Fun fact, I actually made this. This part I bought on, I think it was My Mini Factory. I'll put a link to this in the description below. This is part of an entire tower. It's huge and it's amazing. But the base I did, and the top I did here. I got plenty of room for that. And then let's, just throw a few ballistas. Put a few ballistas in here just for whatever. I've got room for all my other props. I'm really big on props, like I said. I do healing potion bottles that I'll hand out to people. And relative to my next campaign coming up, I got a ton of scrolls, which these will be handed out to the players for specific things. And I still got room for more stuff. I haven't packed this thing to capacity yet. Haven't had to. It's nice to know that I can. And even loaded down like this, it's still not that heavy. I can pick this up and take it with me as is. The books do add some weight to it, but like I said, it's very rare that I'll bring all these books in here. Now, this box might seem like overkill to a lot of you out there, and it probably is. I mean, to be honest with you, this is probably something very few people would ever want to build, want to use, or want to have. But I love it. I'm really big on the theatrics part of D&D and tabletop gaming. Like I said, terrain is something that I think is pretty cool. I enjoy it, but I don't heavily rely on terrain. I like to use theater of the mind. I like to use some props on the table, some terrain on the table to kind of help supplement that experience. But I'm really big on the props. And my players have been very receptive to it. So it's been working for me so far. And this is just as much a prop as anything else. When I walk into the game store, I'm making an entrance. People ask me a lot of questions. They want to know where I got it. Did I make it? How did I make it? And it's, just a lot, all part of the experience for me anyway. All in all, like I said, I'm very happy with this build. If I ever were to do it again, and I just might, I would probably make it just a little bit smaller. There's this room right here I think is a little bit too much, and maybe take, split the difference here so I don't have as much gap between the books and the thing here. And maybe even make it a tad bit thinner. So maybe proportion the whole thing down, maybe about this wide and about this deep. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Do you like it as is? Would you have made it smaller? Would you have made something more compact? Would you have used different materials? I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you made it this far in the video, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you sticking around. Give me a thumbs up just to let me know. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.